Hey, Lions Nation! We're back with another exclusive video bringing you all the latest news about our beloved Detroit Lions. Before we get started, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to the channel so you never miss anything about the team now. Let's get into the news. Detroit didn't merely make a move. It tore open the fabric of the league and let something colossal crawl through. The night the Lions announced the signing of Myles Garrett. This universe's version of him, a pass rusher forged not of flesh, but of violence and velocity. The NFL didn't just react, it recoiled. Thunder rolled over Michigan in heavy, pounding waves, each strike carving shadows across the training facility like claw marks. Reporters had been gathered outside for hours, chasing the rumor that slithered across social media like a warning. But when the doors finally opened and he stepped out, they forgot their questions. Garrett walked with the weight of a man who had waged war in stadiums built to contain mortals, not creatures like him. His footsteps cracked the pavement, subtle but unmistakable. Like the earth shifting beneath a growing fault line, the cameras glitched, frames twisting whenever his silhouette cut across the lens. As though no technology could properly capture the violence coiled beneath his calm exterior. In Cincinnati, Cleveland, Pittsburgh, Kansas City, everywhere coaches froze at their screens, feeling something they hated admitting even to themselves: dread. This wasn't the Lions improving their defense, this was Detroit inviting a storm into their walls. A storm that had learned to walk upright and smile politely before tearing quarterbacks from their dreams. When he entered the facility, players instinctively parted, not because anyone commanded them to, but because instincts older than the sport whispered, "You do not stand in the path of an apex predator." His handshake with Dan Campbell wasn't a greeting, it was an agreement between the monsters who understood the cost of dominance. Campbell's knuckles whitened. Garrett didn't even blink. In that moment, the defensive meeting rooms grew quieter. Linebackers exchanged uneasy glances, and veteran linemen felt a chill despite the humid, storm-heavy air. Detroit had been building something, layering grit upon fury upon relentless ambition, but this was the keystone, the final piece of a nightmare no offense wanted to face. Analysts across the country scrambled for explanations, metaphors, narratives none fit. How do you describe the moment a team stops being a team and becomes something else, something primal, something destined to distort the geometry of every pocket in the league? Garrett walked through the corridors with the slow, deliberate steps of a god inspecting the temple built in his honor, and every fluorescent light flickered as though bowing. Before we move on, take a second to drop a like and subscribe. That way, you'll stay up to date with every exclusive Lions update, and you'll even have a chance to win an official Detroit Lions jersey. Let's keep going. His first steps onto the practice field felt wrong, not because of the turf, but because the stadium seemed too small to contain him. The sky had turned a bruised purple, clouds swirling and thick, predatory arcs overhead as if drawn to the gravity of his presence. Linemen lined up across from him reluctantly, like men approaching an altar where offerings were traditionally made in blood. Coaches blew whistles, but even the shrill sound felt thinner, weaker, swallowed by the tension in the air. The first rep began with a snap that echoed too loudly in the empty bowl of the stadium. Garrett didn't explode forward, he materialized, shifting from stillness to violence in a motion so fluid it bordered on supernatural. His hand shot out, palm colliding with the tackle's chest, and the man staggered 3 full steps backward, cleats digging trenches into the turf. A hush fell over the field. Not awe, not excitement, fear. On the next rep, he didn't bull rush. He slipped around the edge like smoke given shape, hips bending at impossible angles, feet barely whispering against the ground. The quarterback, merely performing warm-up drills, felt the air behind him collapse as Garrett arrived, stopping inches short of contact, exhaling slow enough for the hairs on the back of the QB's neck to rise. The quarterback turned pale. No one laughed, no one clapped. Players whispered among themselves, some predicting records, others predicting catastrophes. When Garrett finally removed his helmet, steam rose from his shoulders as though the darkness inside him struggled to cool. Dan Campbell watched everything with the grim satisfaction of a man who just built a weapon. The league wasn't prepared to survive. Detroit's pass rush, once respectable, had mutated into something grotesque and magnificent, a hydra with teeth carved from steel and breath made of furnace heat. Offenses would no longer scheme against Detroit. They would prey against Detroit. Because this Garrett didn't chase sacks. He hunted terror. He inhaled panic. He bent pockets into tombs. And as the sun died behind thick clouds and the stadium lights roared to life, Myles Garrett stood at the 50-yard line, staring into the depths of the empty stands like a warlord surveying the battlefield before the first slaughter. Detroit hadn't simply changed its pass rush, it had weaponized it, and the league, trembling under the weight of what had just awakened, finally understood that the roar coming from the north was no longer the sound of a team rising, it was the sound of the NFL's future being torn open. We bring you the latest Lions news every single day, so make sure you're subscribed. Hit that like button and turn on notifications so you don't miss a thing. And of course, drop a comment below with your thoughts on today's news. Your voice makes a difference for Lions Nation. See you in the next video.